remember exactly where I saw this question. I just know that I wrote it down and I said one day I'm going to turn this into a topic, and that day is today. Do you feel more creative working alone or with other people, and why do you think that is? Well, it's interesting because this is one of those things where I can say that I have a slight shift in opinion, but not very much. Had I seen this question when I was still in school, I would have 100% said that I feel more creative working alone, because when you are in school as a teen, people really have the worst time focusing. I remember being assigned to groups and people took a while to focus. You would discuss things about this past weekend or the upcoming weekend, and you just keep going and going and going and going. I'm the kind of student who is serious and down to business. I get paired up with clowns like that, and I have no choice but to get frustrated. What I would do is I would start writing, not say anything, and of course, naturally, people at some point would finally focus on the project and be like, "What do you have going on, Zam?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm done." Then they go, "Well, don't you want to share what you got?" And I'm like, "I can give you a little piece of it. I would like to see what you got." Because I was the kind of student who, as soon as I was hearing about the assignment, I was already seeing a picture of how I was going to go about it. And as details got added, I highlighted the part that I thought would be the hardest. And I would pretty much start writing down the plan, which was almost always the final draft, final copy of the easier parts. Working with groups always felt like a hindrance. And I grew up with the opinion that I will always be good at working by myself. Creativity wise, you guys know me, I've never been exhausted for ideas. I've never had problems finding inspo on the most mundane of things, make something with it. But in more recent times, I can say that I have had the privilege of being paired up with people who also genuinely care about doing a good job with things. And I feel like when you pair up someone who's naturally studious and then you pair them up with someone who has skills in other things that I may not be skilled at, such as, say, I can grab a piece of paper and I can draw a plan to create a poster that serves as a visual display for something, and as opposed to having the handwritten blank piece of paper written with a marker, I can pass that along to someone who has computer skills and they can create a more official looking sign and format it to where it stands out. It follows nice design principles. And then they also have the skill of getting it laminated and then presenting it wherever it needs to be presented. True story, that is something that happened to me about a month ago. Right off the bat, I heard someone describing an issue. I already thought of the solution. I'm like, what you need is a sign in a spot that everybody is forced to walk by and see this written down, and that'll serve as a reminder to do what they're supposed to do for you the night before. Instantly, I thought, okay, it needs to be color coded. Red for no go, green for go. I think this is the words that it should have. Really brief, really straight to the point, bold, caps. We created it and it looks like it's been working just fine. And that's one of those things that I felt proud that I was able to pass that to someone else to complete on my behalf, as opposed to me trying to finish that. The creativity was there independently, which is, oh, to resolve your problem, you need a sign, a visual. This is how I think it should look like. But ultimately, the person I passed it on to get on the computer and actually produce this sign, they actually format it better than I had envisioned. Because originally I was thinking about having the background completely red and completely green for the other message, And this person instead made the background white, but the text was the different colors. And I thought that was pretty neat because I looked at it like a classic sign, which is red background, white letters, green background, maybe black letters, or maybe keep the white letters so that you can see the relationship between the signs, something like that. So as an adult, I, in more recent times, have been privileged to be paired up with genuinely nice workers. I can say that there have been times in which I have seen them take the initiative with something that I can consider was done very creatively, because there were some, I guess, shortcuts developed to make certain tools accessible that I never thought about. And I said to myself, I feel like my creativity is beginning to die because I got so used to my creativity being something that I had only independently. And I reserved it for places like home, that here at work, I never felt the need to let my creativity roam freely because I got used to being told no so often, and I often forget how lax and inviting and welcoming the current management is. That when I see things like that, I keep thinking to myself, just when I thought that everything was as good as it could get, here I am discovering that there was still an opportunity for improvement with that thing. And then it helps me look at myself and be like, I guess I could use this as an opportunity to challenge myself to become good at this again, become better, because it makes me feel like I'm falling behind a little bit. It is a form of falling behind. Now I can say that when I'm actively assigned to a project to be creative with it, sure, I can contribute, but it's not like I'm walking around, say in my department, looking for things to improve and use my creativity to do so. Whereas the folks who are there present now are operating like that. It's like I only deploy my creativity when it is asked of me, as opposed to it just being naturally recurring, which was my default back in those times when it was either not welcome, not promoted, or not needed. So yeah, you guys, I hope that makes sense. So in school, I was undoubtedly an independent worker. Working with other people killed my creativity because I just felt like we were never on the same page, or you were just not the personality that was compatible with my student style. Therefore, we weren't really getting anywhere. And as an adult, early adult, I was okay because I was fresh from school, taking those ideas and telling myself, I am now at a job. I have to show myself as competitive. I had my brief season with that, and it got as far as it could get again, because back then I had I had a lot of doors closed on me. But eventually, as the management began to change, those traits that I was exhibiting originally became a want and a need again. But since I had become a little more dormant and, in a sense, apathetic, I thought, well, if you're looking for ideas and creativity, go to someone else, because I sincerely don't want to offer any, and I don't want to think about ways to offer any. I became a little selfish and recluse. But now, presently, because I have such a good squad and I see what they're achieving and how much better things are getting, I want to be a part of that now. I feel like now I need to level up my game. So, in conclusion, I feel more creative in the present time working with other people, because we are actually sharing the common goal of making this place better. That has become a priority. Whereas in the past, it was all about increasing the basket size of customers and make that happen, and everything else can be neglected. But now everything seems to be more balanced out. And I can appreciate that because I thrive in balance and harmony. So I hope that makes sense. It's Why I say that I have slightly changed my opinion, because you could say I have experienced a little bit of a decay because I have held things just for myself and I explore my creativity at home because home is ultimately the most deserving place of my creativity. But now the right people, the right personalities, the right characters compatible with me are helping me bring that out, since I know that this environment is welcoming them too. In a sense, I'm the one who's kind of slow now with providing creative inputs, but it doesn't mean I don't have the skill. I just gotta get in the mindset of this is an environment that invites this kind of thing now. Whereas in the past, it was dismissed. You can only be ignored and dismissed so much before you become apathetic. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have any opinions of your own with this topic, and I'll see you soon.